absolutely broken for all of you, her family, and her friends.
Remembering Andrea, the memorial held yesterday in honor of the woman shot and killed in the Coral Ridge Mall.
And announcing today where Jeb Bush will make his formal announcement for the White House and the newest poll number showing where he stands.
Live from WQAD, this is News 8's Good Morning Quad Cities.
Good morning, welcome. It is Monday, June 15th. I'm Julie Sisk.
And I'm Jonathan Ketz. Thanks for joining us. We are already seeing rain in the forecast. We've seen rain in a lot of it actually in Carroll County already this morning.
Right, it's been soggy out there for quite a while. And expect more today, right, Eric?
And the flashes that are going on right now. And oh, by the way,
Don't say it again.
I know, I said it already. It's another $10 going to the Quad City Animal Welfare Center. You know, and even on the camera, our trusty Joel, our floor director, has even put this on the camera so that I would not say that word until the Blackhawks win. You know what I'm going to have to do? I'm going to have to put this onto the green wall. I got to be careful with the tape. I don't want to take any of the green paint off. All right, so right there, that is going to remind me that I'm not going to say that word.
Good,
right?
yes.
We do have some heavy thunderstorms, some flashes around Lanark. Also some heavy rain showers you see to the northwest of Sterling. Not going to say that word because we don't have any of it coming out of this just yet into West Liberty, but there are some flashes around Mount Monmouth right now as these continue to develop and push off toward the north and the east. So you can see as a whole, most of the activity to the north, but we do see some more thunderstorms to the south, and that's a trend that will continue through our day today. In fact, temperature right now is 72. We'll go to 82 later this afternoon. Guys, it's straight at 6 o'clock. I'll send it over to you for today's top stories.
All right, thank you, Eric. The Coral Ridge Mall is reopened after a deadly shooting there on Friday night. We have continuing coverage on Good Morning Quad Cities. Investigators say 20-year-old Andrea Farrington was shot 3 times at the mall where she worked at the Iowa Children's Museum. Witnesses say she was shot in the back. The accused shooter, 22-year-old Alexander Kozak, was a security guard at the mall who reportedly had been fired recently. Police say he fled after the shooting but was later arrested without incident while driving eastbound on I-80 near Davenport.
Friends, family, and co-workers of Andrea Farrington are celebrating her life at the museum where she worked yesterday. Brady Smith shows us how they're keeping her memory alive now.
Our hearts are just absolutely broken for all of you, her family, and her friends.
The executive director of the Iowa Children's Museum spoke to dozens of people who knew Andrea Farrington on Sunday morning. Friends and family wrote messages to Farrington on turquoise hearts, her favorite color, and posted them outside the museum where she worked. The Coral Ridge Mall's general manager and Coralville Mayor John Lundell also said their condolences to the Farrington family, who were seated closest to the museum doors. After that, the crowd lit candles and stood in silence. Former co-worker Miriam Mead, who says she'll remember Farrington's energy and exuberance, went inside the museum where an exhibit space was dedicated to her.
She was just alive. It was touching. It was good to be with the museum family during that time.
Farrington's funeral service will be held Wednesday morning in Montezuma.
Now, the shooter has been charged with first-degree murder and being held on a $10 million bond. An autopsy confirms that the man found in a burned SUV in Missouri is the father involved in an Amber Alert, Elvis Habibovic. Missouri officials say that they are still waiting on the results of the infant, which could take more than a week. They believe the child is 9-month-old Logan Habibovic. The child was reported missing last Tuesday after he wasn't returned to his Urbandale, Iowa home. Missouri officials found the burned-up vehicle with 2 bodies inside less than an hour later. The autopsy did not list a cause of death.
Today, the trial picks back up against Timothy McVeigh, the man accused of killing his former girlfriend, Carrie Olson. The first witness, a forensic scientist, actually testified last week because of a scheduling conflict. The full trial, though, starts this week. News 8 will have complete coverage of what happens inside the courtroom during the day at WQAD.com, as well as a recap of the evenings on News 8 at 5, 6, and 10. Green-colored bangs. If you have any information, you're asked to call Henry County, Iowa Sheriff's Department at the number there on your screen.
Today, the presidential race heats up once again as former Florida Governor Jeb Bush is expected to make his announcement. It is your voice, your vote coverage here on Good Morning Quad Cities. He launched his campaign with a video released just ahead of his official announcement later today in Miami. His new campaign logo does not include that famous last name that experts say instantly launched him into frontrunner status and likely helped him raise record amounts of money since he began considering a run 6 months ago. The polls show that Bush is dropping, though. Back in March, he had support of Republicans with 21%. Now it's down to 10%.
So many people could do so much better if we fixed a few things.
According to the latest ABC News Washington Post poll, 45% of Americans view Hillary Clinton favorably compared to just 32% for Jeb Bush.
Presidential candidate Hillary Clinton made her way back to Iowa this weekend, stopping in Burlington to meet with voters in a more intimate setting. Around 80 people crowded into a home on Sunday, listening to Clinton speak on her policies concerning international trade, bipartisanship, and early childhood development. She says her stop back in our area in April opened her eyes to one policy she hadn't really considered before: mental health facilities.
I was sitting in a little cafe talking to 4 people, and one young man who's a hospital administrator said, "What are you going to do for all the people with mental health problems that we have no place for?"
Clinton's Democratic challenger, Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, was also in Iowa this weekend. He spoke with party activists across the state who will play a key role in the Iowa caucus, which is just over 7 months away.
Still ahead, right here on Good Morning Quad Cities, the new local invention that can save lives after an accident on the farm.
Then it's time to talk business. Phil Kasowitz will be here to tell us what to expect from the markets this week.
Showers and thunderstorms developing in parts of the area here this morning, especially moving through the northeast and south of the Quad Cities. I'll show you Storm Track 8, let you know what the prospect is for flash flooding later on today, and your accurate forecast all next. 66 overnight tonight, some patchy fog tomorrow, about 81 degrees, a break in the rain, at least leading into about Wednesday morning as well. Showers and thunderstorms ramping back up Thursday and into Friday. And for traveling and for planning purposes, the 14-day outlook continues to show stormy weather. Hopefully we'll get a break, but not until week number 2.
Now, your daily look at farm news and commodity prices. Good Morning Quad Cities, Ag in the AM.
Taking a look at corn futures from the Chicago Board of Trade. July contracts down 2 pennies, September down 3, December down 3 as well. December contracts trading at $3.67. Also looking at soybeans, down 6 pennies for July, August, and September. September contracts trading at $9.01. Also on Ag in the AM, it has been nearly 5 years since 2 children suffocated inside a grain bin just northeast of the Quad Cities in Carroll County. One company in that community is working to make sure that nothing like that ever happens again. At Eastland Feed and Grain in Shannon, Illinois, they're stocking up local fire departments with their invention. It's called the Great Wall of Rescue. The device consists of aluminum panels that slide together that weigh about 20 pounds apiece. The panels block the grain from collapsing and serve as a barrier so they can dig the victim out.
In this situation, she's placed straight up and down, so it's probably going to take us about 15 to 20 minutes.
Over the past 50 years, more than 900 cases of grain entrapment have been reported, with more than half the cases ending in death. Still ahead right here on Good Morning Quad Cities, Phil Kasowitz will join us to talk about what we could expect to see on Wall Street this week. Plus, right now we have a live look from our Eagle Eye in the city of Davenport. There's a look at the Centennial Bridge. You're watching Good Morning Quad Cities. It is 6:18, and each Monday we take a look ahead at the world of business, plus the dollars and cents of investing. And joining us this morning is investment advisor Phil Kasowitz. Phil, we had a back and forth week for Wall Street last week. Last week there was a 140-point drop, though, on Friday. So the question at this time is, what is keeping the market stuck in this narrow trading range at least?
Well, we have 3 things going on. Number one, interest rates, Greece, and then we also are dealing with economic numbers overall. Obviously, the headlines coming out of this morning and late Friday is the situation in Greece may fail. And if that happens, the markets are having some real problems with that. On top of that, we have the Fed meeting this week talking about interest rates. We all know there's going to be a hike. We just don't know when. The markets are trying to digest that. And then we had a very soft first quarter of the year, and we're starting to see some economic numbers coming back around in this next quarter, but not enough to really boost the market to new highs.
Could interest rates be affected by Greece at all as well, or no?
Probably not. I don't think that'll have a lot to do with it, although I'm sure the Fed will keep an eye on that, and they will be watching that this week as this develops.
As you mentioned, the Fed meeting this week. Other than maybe interest rates, what are investors expecting from these meetings here?
I think what they're going to be looking at is some confirmation of some of those numbers we were just talking about, the economic numbers of the second quarter. They were concerned about the softness back in the first quarter. They're now starting to make some comments about what they've seen. That'll be very important guidance as we look into this week, and then also where they think they might want to start moving on the interest rate hike.
With the Fed, the focus this week, what will the markets be looking at?
Well, they're going to be looking at Greece this morning. Obviously, what happened over the weekend is a real problem, so that'll be the first focus. But we do have some manufacturing and some housing information out, but most of that will probably get lost on the Greece and the interest rate picture of this week.
If you could guess, do you think the interest rates will take a rise at some point this summer? Or do you think it'll be later on, maybe in the fall?
I would think it would be later in the fall. I think there's just not enough good information out there, solid enough yet, and I think that they'll continue to hold off. That's kind of been the way they've been dealing with this, and that's what I would expect.
Okay, good advice. Thank you, Phil.
Okay, have a good week.
You can hear from Phil Kasowitz every Monday morning at this time right here on Good Morning Quad Cities.
Traffic cameras on Good Morning Quad Cities are sponsored by Ace Muffler Clinic.
It's 6:20 right now, time for Total Travel, and we are looking live at the Centennial Bridge. You can see a little traffic headed out right now. It is still down to one lane in each direction there because of the ongoing construction project, but right now no delays to report. As far as the regional airports, just check the websites once again, and there are no delays or cancellations posted at all three. Weather-wise here in the Quad City area, should it be an issue this morning? Other destinations, though, seeing the rain that we'll expect to see later today.
Yeah, we do expect more heavy thunderstorms to head in our direction here for today. So if you're heading out and about, actually now is a great time to jet set because there's not much in the immediate vicinity of the Quad Cities. As far as traveler forecast goes, there will be a couple of showers and thunderstorms dotting the skies here this morning, and especially as we head into the afternoon. Here's a look at Storm Track 8 right now, and we'll pinpoint a couple of the heavier thunderstorms now working out of our region to the north and the east, so heading into Ogle County and Lee County, Illinois. Also looking out here toward Tipton, west of Scott County into Cedar County, you're picking up on some heavy thunderstorms. Also developing weather with a lot of thunderbolts around the Monmouth and Galesburg area right now. These thunderstorms continue to lift off toward the north and the east. So if it's dry out your door right now, that's temporary. We've got about 100% chance of rain today. We'll talk more about when we get a break coming up next.